Thank you all for joining us today. I'm Aleck, and
I'm Tony.
we're from IDX, and we are here to help you with your leads. But we'll show you how you can capture them, how you can do a little bit of management of leads within the IDX Broker system, and then you can use IDX Broker, start capturing these leads, and then you can do your follow-up and sell some houses.
Awesome.
So, today is all about lead capture, routing, and managing the leads. So first we are going to go ahead and look over the sign-up page. We have one built into IDX Broker that there's a couple different ways to get to that. And then your leads or your visitors can go ahead and go there, sign up for an account, and then they'll be able to save their properties or save searches and come back and even get email updates based on the criteria that they set in that. We will look over the global registration rules, and this really sets rules for pop-ups to show up so that everybody going to your website that looks over some properties gets just a little flag to request for them to go ahead and sign up to create an account, and then you'll have their information and be able to help them a little bit better. And then we're also going to customize the credential email. So once they sign up, we shoot them out an email from the IDX Broker system. This email you can customize a little bit, introduce yourself, say welcome to my website. You can go ahead and brand it so that they know where it came from and that they definitely should log in and use it and start looking for properties. So first of all, here's the IDX Broker dashboard. You might be familiar with that. You're probably going to start on the dashboard here. So here's your navigation up top. This identifies you. There's a couple different places we're looking at today, and it's mostly going to be on the right of the screen. But right now we're going to look at the sign up page itself. So I'm going to look at designs and pages. So in designs and pages, these are all of the IDX Broker pages that come pre-installed with your system. So you have your search pages here, you have your map search, your results pages, and then if we scroll down a little bit, there's user pages. So this is kind of what we're going to focus on today. There's a user login for somebody who already has an account. So from here, we're going to look at user pages. User login is for existing clients. It can certainly be helpful. It's just a simple email address, password. You can have password enabled or you can turn off passwords. On mine, I have a password turned on, so they can log into their account. When a visitor signs up as a lead, they have their own account where they can save their searches, their information, their password, all that stuff is right there. So an existing person can log in. But you can also start capturing new people with this user sign-up page. So here, this one has a CAPTCHA turned on. It's not by default, but you can certainly turn that on to prevent a lot of spam. You can have required fields, not required. We have to have at least a name and an email address, but other than that, you can certainly add to this, and we'll go over that in just a second. And you can even have people automatically sign up to an agent if you have a multi-user account. So say I got the card from Bill Jones, and so I go to the website and like, oh, well, I talked to Bill earlier, and so I really want to sign up, but I don't know the other people in the office too well. So I can go in here, sign up, and say, hey, I really want to sign up with Bill because I already have a relationship with him. Fill all this information, and I can sign up here.
So, Aleck, I'm curious. The sign-up form is awesome, but what if I want to put a sign-up on my existing website? Like I want it on my page already in my website rather than having to go out to IDX page. Is that possible? Does my account level matter?
That is possible. There's a couple different ways to do that. So if you have IDX Broker Platinum, there is actually a widget that does that. I can go up here to my widgets. We're still in the design section. I can manage my widgets, and I can see that there's actually a lead sign-up widget. Let's preview that and see what it looks like. This one is more of a vertical widget, but you can see that here all the information is here. This one is perfect for a sidebar. This is the preview, but I can go ahead and throw this widget code anywhere in my site on an IDX page or not. Just make sure that you only put one of these on a page. Some people I know will want to put one in the footer and maybe one on the side. For the sign up, that's not going to work. It does funky stuff and you will not want that. So just put one of them on your page somewhere and all the information, they can do that, submit it, sign up, right there, you're good to go. The other way to do it, if you do have a light account, you have the login button available, but we don't have the sign up button. So you could take the sign up page from Designs Pages. You can just take this link right here and you could throw that on an image. Sign up now, see more listings, become a user, you know, whatever you want. And you could even tie this to an ebook or some sort of call to action that says, hey, if you sign up as a user now, you'll get email updates, or you can also get my ebook that I just created, or you can do a lot of things just with a simple button and send them to this page.
Nice, very cool.
This user sign up is pretty basic when it comes out of the box, but if you edit the contact pages, it affects both the contact pages and the sign up page, but it gives you some more options. In fact, kind of gives you almost unlimited options as far as fields that you can get from your users. So let's go ahead and look at that. We're going to go to Leads, Lead Registration Preferences, Advanced, and then if you scroll down on this sign up page, you can see all the options that I have turned on in my account. Like I said, you have to have a name, you have to have an email address, otherwise we really can't reach anybody. But I've added my assigned agent here. I've created a last name that's required and a password which is not required. I've also gone ahead and turned on CAPTCHA. If I want to delete something, like maybe I don't want my last name on there anymore, just hit the trash can, or I can add some more fields. So say I want a phone number from them. I could even make that a required field, submit that, and you can see the little red star indicates that I have a phone and it's required. Then don't forget to save your changes at the bottom. And I've just updated my entire sign-up page. Can refresh this here. And you'll see that I now have phone and I don't have last name anymore. So it's that easy. It affects the page. Like I said, it affects the contact pages. It also affects the widget. Anywhere where you're asking for their email and your visitor's information, it's going to affect those.
Now those default fields are great, but what if I want my own field? Like I want a radio selection with my own label to get more data than what you just have as the default.
You can certainly add more fields, but I can do other. You can name this whatever you want. So you can name this has pet. So you can ask if your users have pets. And you can make that a radio button, yes or no. You can make it a checkbox, whether they agree to your terms of service, whether they want your ebook, whether they have blue eyes. Whatever you want in the form field, you can add it there. Submit it. Boom. That is now, as soon as I've saved it, that's now on my sign-up page.
Nice.
Boom. Yes or no. And then when you get this sign up, you'll get that information right off the bat. Pet could actually be helpful because maybe they only want properties that accept pets. And so you can find out a lot more information.
Super cool.
So first name is a field that's kind of, you're stuck with it. You can use some CSS to go ahead and edit that, but first name and email address are just fields that are built into the system. So we have our sign up page. Now how do we get people to sign up? For that, we can actually adjust the global registration rules. And fortunately, it's really easy to get to from here because I can just go over and adjust my global registration rules on the same page. Again, this is leads, lead registration preferences, and my advanced pill tab right there. So I'm going to select the global registration tab right there. You may notice that these are by category. You can go granular on these. You can even adjust these in the page level. But I'm just going to look at my, my categories here. So I can change different rules for search pages or the map search, or you can see I already have some results pages set, or details pages, or photo gallery. And the great thing about this is that I might want people to be able to search as long as they want. But once they get into a detail page, or a lot of people really focus on this photo gallery, yeah, you can look as many properties as you want. But really, if you want to see the home, I'd really rather that you signed up with me to get that extra information. So here we have two options. We have request registration, which just shows a pop-up. They can close the pop-up. They can keep working. Keep looking. It's just kind of a reminder of, hey, you might want to do this, but it's not required in any way. And then there's force registration, which means they cannot pass that page. If they try to close it down, it's going to go back to the search page that they tried previously, and they're not going to get any further. The best bet is usually to use these in sync with each other. So a lot of times I might do a recurring request for every 3 pages. So after 3 pages, this pops up, says, hey, looks like you may be interested in some of the properties on my site. Would you mind signing up? You can get some benefits there. And then after, I don't know, 8 pages, I might want to force them that says, okay, you've looked at a lot of pages, and at this point, you know, if you're serious, I really need you to sign up so that I can really give you the support that you need, so that I can show you some of these houses, so I can tell you some more information about them. And this way you're not just giving away all of your information for free. So those work really well together because after 3 pages, look at a pop-up that says, hey, would you mind signing up? After 6 pages, look at another pop-up that says, hey, would you mind signing up? And then after 8 pages, it says, hey, sign up. You know, you've gotten a lot of free stuff. Go ahead and sign this up. You can also change your messaging here, and you can change it on a category level. So I can use my default, or I can use a custom message on that pop-up that says, hey, I noticed you were interested in some photos of this property. You know what's even better than a photo? A live walkthrough. Join, sign up, contact me, I can show this house to you. Or whatever you want. You can customize this and brand it. Obviously our stuff is fairly generic. You must register to view this page. In order to continue, please register. You can say, thanks for viewing photos on myproperty.com. In order to continue, please reach out to our friendly staff and we'll sign you up with an account and we'll be in touch with you. And you can do that, like I said, on a category level, or you can even go down and do that on a page level, which we won't go through. It's definitely possible, but this is definitely the way to start. I would set these up, try them for a month or 2, see if you're getting some response. You can look at your bounce rate, you can look at some of your website analytics, see how many people are signing up, how many people are just leaving the page, and then keep tweaking it, because this is going to be different in every market. It's going to be different with every clientele and with each MLS. So definitely play around with these, make them just right. One other thing that you have customizable, as we talked about in the very beginning, is your credential email. This is the email that goes out when somebody does sign up. So after 8 pages, they're like, okay, I'm going to sign up. They click the sign up button, they fill in some of their information, they send that off to get their account, immediately they will get this email. And this email you can customize. There's variables here to make it a little more personal, to say who you're dealing with, their username, their credentials. But then you can tweak this. It says, here is just the name of my account, but you can say, Jack's Apple Dumpling Gang of Realtors has given you access, or we're pleased that you signed up with an account for us. There's so many benefits for you. Here is your lead information. Here's your login credentials. Please contact us now so that we can help you get the right fit of properties. You can change the subject. You can change all of this information. Or you can use the default. If you're just in a hurry, you want something that just works out of the box, and move on.
So now on this form, one of the questions I've been asked quite a bit is, you give me the ability to add an image, but IDX doesn't have anywhere to upload the image. So where's this image coming from?
Definitely. You can add an image, or really a link to an image, right from within this account. But like you said, there's no storage on IDX Broker to place this anywhere. So what I often suggest is using a Dropbox account, using a Google account, using anywhere where you can just host an image. You guys all have websites. If you have access to the FTP there, or access in WordPress, you can upload images, get that URL. Once you have that, you can just stick that URL in here and go. So
nice.
I can pull an image. It looks like he sells a lot of real estate. And I can just post that in there, give it a description and a title. And boom, that'll be in your email.
Nice. Very cool. Thank you.
So we've gone over some of the lead capture settings. You can please tweak them. There's so many things you can do with that. We've gone up the sign-up page and editing that. You can actually also add video to a lot of our subheaders by using an embed code. Now, some email services may pull that. I know that they strip out a lot of JavaScript or a lot of items like that. But you can certainly try to put a video in here. It may work with some email systems, it may not. But for that, you can go to YouTube. If you right-click on a video clip, it'll give you an embed code. And you can just go ahead and paste that in here. You can even turn on the HTML editor, which gives you a little more access if you know what you're doing. So here you could do, the embed code, which is usually like iframe source equals https youtube.com/your video. And you can paste that in the HTML editor and then go ahead and update that. You can also update your signature. So you can put an email address right in here, but you may also want to edit your signature for the emails that you send out from your account. And you can actually do that within Preferences and Global Preferences, Email Settings, and then your email signature is going to be here for those property updates that they get once they sign up, for email sent out on your behalf from IDX Broker. You can actually edit that email signature right here. And again, you can do HTML if you want. The editor here is pretty much the same as the editor in the leads section. We've done our sign-up page, our global registration. We've customized the credential email. Now let's look at contact routing. So this is exactly what Samantha's talking about right now. You have people sign up, but once they sign up, where do they go? How do we have team members be responsible for one or the other? So we're going to go over contact routing preferences. This is how you route those. If you have somebody who only works in a specific area of your market or a specific price range, you can set those preferences in here. Or you can just send it to round robin. The next person that hasn't had a lead yet, boom, they get the next lead. We can manage our leads, or in this case, manage our contact routing, and then we'll work on managing our leads once we have those assigned. We're still in the leads, so we're still working with leads. Leads, contact routing. Let's look at our preferences here. So, in this account right now, I do have contact routing enabled. If it's disabled, it will only send a lead either to the main person on the account, or if the visitor already has a specific person selected. And so it kind of ignores all these settings basically. I have core fields in round robin, which means if a core field is selected, it'll do that. Core fields include, if you're the listing agent, boom, it gets sent to you. If I already have something for price, maybe I want somebody to deal with the $1 million plus properties, boom, it goes to them. But as a catch-all, if it doesn't fit any of those core fields, it goes back down into the round robin. So if it doesn't belong to any of my agents and the property is $250,000, it doesn't currently fit my criteria, it'll go just to the next person on the list. So we can set whichever one we want. This is typically a good one. Then I can manage those settings. And in fact, I have none set up. So let's add a new contact route. So I can do it by cities, counties, states, zip codes. I can even do it by MLS. And then after that, I can set a low price and a high price. I could even set square footage. So if you have someone who specializes in, smaller, houses, or if you have someone that specializes in new families that are looking for a little bigger space, you can set those here. If you have somebody who only works with lots of land, who only deals with large acreages, you can set those here. So I'm going to set by city. I want Big Torch. And then within the city, I'm just going to have Bob take care of that. Okay. So Bob works in Big Torch now. Okay. There's no high price, no low price, etc. I can add a new one. I want low price of $1 million. And if it's a low price of $1 million, I want Greg to get those. Okay. So I have Bob running Big Torch. I have Greg doing $1 million plus houses. And then everything after that just goes into this round robin. And in fact, I need to set up my round robin. So I'm ignoring all of these, and I'm just putting Bob and Greg. So if it doesn't fit one of them specifically, it'll just go from Bob to Greg back to Bob again. Okay, so that's my round robin down at the bottom. Then I'm going to go back and view my settings, and I've got that set up. Down here is just how the system works. If it triggers the agent on load, so every time the page loads, you get a new agent, or every time submit. I generally think submit works better because on load just means every time that page is refreshed, it's going to go to the next person. Instead of when somebody actually signs up, then it goes to the next person. So I'm going to save those changes. I've managed my routes. I've added new routes. We should be good there.
So what about things like property type and that kind of thing? Is that available in the contact routing?
Yeah, let me see. A new route. It does not look like we actually have property types. So for that, you might do a minimum and maximum square footage. If you're looking for somebody only doing townhomes or only doing apartments, you could maybe get away with that. Or minimum acres, maximum acres. If you wanted somebody that does single family houses, you might do a minimum acreage on that. Or if you only want somebody in condos, you might set a maximum acres of 0.1 or something really low on that. But currently these are our only options for those contact routes.
Cool, and we love getting requests from our customers on ways we can enhance the product. So if you have any enhancement requests like that, definitely send them to help@idxbroker.com.
Yep, we're always looking to improve our product, to make it better, and sometimes we think of ideas that we think are great, but we're not out on the street selling real estate all day. So it's always helpful to get another set of eyes and you guys to help us make our product better. Okay, now actually managing those leads. So someone has gone to your site, they've got that pop-up, they've signed up as a lead, they're assigned to an agent. Now what? We talked about even that credential email. Sometimes it's called verification. So once they get that, then they verify their account. That's CAN Spam Act. We kind of have to send that so that they have the opportunity to become a lead, or maybe it was by mistake, they already bought a house or something like that. So there's a verification email, but we'll look over manually verifying them as well. We will go over creating saved searches for your leads, and let's look at that now. Fortunately, in my account, I already have some leads. I have lots of leads in my account. They're all fake, but I have lots of leads. So you'll see that I have many of my leads that are already verified. If they're verified, they can get those email updates on a regular basis. They can log into their account. They're a fully fledged member and lead. But I see that Terry down here signed in almost a year ago and never verified. So in this case, I might ignore Terry. But if Terry was maybe last activity just signed up maybe a week ago and didn't verify it, or if I've talked to Terry and Terry said, you know what, I signed up for your account, I lost that verification email, or I'm still looking for a home, I'm really looking for the specifics, I can verify Terry simply by clicking the unverified button. Boom, done. Terry is now a verified lead. He can now get those email updates. But, oh, I see Terry does. So these are the saved searches for S, and these are the saved properties for P. So a saved search means that, well, in Terry's case, Terry is looking for single-family homes between 200 and 800,000. These are the results that Terry will get based on his search. But Terry also has some saved properties, which means he was looking at the site and he really liked this property in Wellington and he really liked this property in Aventura. If there's any changes in this, so if there's a price drop maybe on this Versailles one, or if something changes on Turnberry, Terry will automatically get an email that says, hey, check this out, there's a change in that. So maybe he was waiting for this price to drop. 800,000, maybe he can only afford 7. So he really likes it, but it's waiting for a change. He saves that property as soon as there's any changes, or if maybe it, the status changes on that or something like that, he'll get that email. Say that's not enough. Say I'm talking to Terry, and Terry says, you know what, I saved some stuff, but I'm really looking for some other searches, or my needs changed, okay? My wife's pregnant now, so I need something a little bigger. Well, we can create searches for Terry, and then he will get these emails as well. So I was managing my lead. I'm going to go to lead info, which is this pencil icon. Going to go to saved searches. Going to add one. Then I can double click here, I can click here. Just going to do this. And I'm going to do an advanced search for Terry. Actually, yeah. Next step. You may be familiar with this. This is going to look the same as when you create a saved link on your site, or even the front-end search pages that everyone else searches for. It's going to be similar to this. So I know that Terry is not concerned about money, so I'm going to clear these out. Let's see, Terry is interested in Woodford County. Sure, why not? And since his wife is now pregnant, they need at least 3 bedrooms, okay? You can also know, maybe he's a pet owner and it has to have pets allowed. Or maybe they don't, his wife has cerebral palsy. They don't do multi-story, so we're just going to do single story. Or he's really into biking, okay? I can set all these things here. And then when I'm done with all the stuff that Terry wants, I just do the next step and give this a search name so I can find him again. This will also go out in the emails. So when he gets an email based on this, it'll say baby home results. And it'll give him a couple options, and then he can click a link to see all of the that day's properties. So I successfully made that search. I can edit that lead. I can create another one. I'm just going to go back and manage the rest of my leads.
So how often is Terry going to get this email for the Save Search?
So Terry will normally get this every time there are additional properties that fit his criteria. And I can actually go to my email settings. And I can have those sent daily or weekly, or I can turn off the properties altogether. So, so I can, by default, it's going to send out daily updates. But if people think that's a little too much, I can actually change my updates to a weekly. Or if I don't want updates to be sent out from this, maybe I have a CRM or I have another system that I track that, I can actually turn that off. And I can save my changes. And this is in Preferences, Global Preferences, and Email Settings. You may also want to know what you're sending out. And here, I can actually send a sample email update to myself just to make sure I have the wording right, make sure the formatting's right, because in IDX Broker, you can set all that, but it doesn't really show you what it's going to look like in a final email. So I can send that sample, send it to my office manager, have her look over it just to make sure that it's all kosher and works well for her. And then once it's all set up, you can just leave it and start capturing those leads.
So now you mentioned CRM. We've got a lot of customers that want to get these leads into a CRM. How does that work? Does it work?
Definitely. It does work. You can be tricky, or you can just get IDX Broker Platinum. And the great thing about Platinum is that right below this email signature that we've already done up with a nice image and some great text to welcome people and show off who we are, there's additional contact information here. So my email right now, when somebody signs up, that email gets pushed out to the agent whose lead it is. So if they've selected Bob as the lead, or it's $1 million plus home, so it automatically goes to Greg, they'll get that email. I can also send a CC email here. So I can have a CC to info@myhomes.com. So that might be for the office manager, just to keep track of all the emails. It might go to the broker, just to make sure, to see the leads, and then make sure that Greg's, following up on all of those. But many CRMs also have something that is called email parsing. And it's just a fancy way to say that we can send emails to CRMs, then grab all of the lead information out of that and use it in their system. If it's not built into IDX Broker Top Producer, there's many other CRMs that will give you a personalized email address. And if you put it in this section right here, again, this is only available in Platinum, but it might be leads5689 at mycrm.com. And so then to this email address is sent all of the lead information that you capture. So lead name, email address, maybe phone number, all of that stuff, and then they can take it and automatically import it to their CRM. So these fields, again, are under Preferences, Global Preferences, and Email Settings. So for Lite, we don't have this basic CC thing, so you can either set it up just in your account info and your main email, which is right here, your primary email. But that won't help if your leads are going to one of your agent's emails. It's just going to go to that agent email, unless they have an account with a CRM. And in that case, you would switch out their email, which is going to be in the users section, users, agents, manage. And I can edit my agent information right here. Their primary email, I can make this their specific ERM parsing email. Otherwise, in a Lite, it only goes to a single email. Mm-hmm. So one lead goes to one email, and you'll just have to set that email wherever it's going to be your CRM. Unless you have Top Producer, which if you have a Top Producer account, there's additional information at support.idxbroker.com on setting up your Top Producer account with IDX Broker. There you can just turn this on, save the changes, and then it will go to, the lead will go to whichever appropriate agent, and it will be imported automatically into Top Producer.
Nice.
So Wendy's asking a little bit about saved links, which is kind of outside the scope of leads, kind of. But we did go over leads and how to set up a saved link for a lead. If you want that to be based on a neighborhood or a subdivision or a community, whatever your MLS calls it, that's going to be one of the advanced settings. So I'm going to give a mod, well, a mod might not appreciate that. I'm going to go back to Terry again. Lead info, saved searches. I'm going to add a new saved search for Terry. Add saved search. I'm going to do this based on advanced search. And in this case, my subdivisions are here. So I can actually choose Academy Village, or maybe they're interested in a couple of them. So I can do a Acacia Park, and to control select and choose Acacia Pueblos as well. So then it will only pull in results from these subdivisions. And then I can go ahead and do the next step, give it a name, and save that search for this person. You can add additional fields by going to Designs and Pages, and next to Advanced Search, choose the Fields option. And we do have actually quick tip videos. If you go to our YouTube account and do search for saved search or saved link, we actually walk through changing these fields and creating an entire saved link there. Please check that out. You can also go to IDX Broker. We have a webinar page there. If you're looking for more information about saved links or a beginner's webinar or some other webinars that we have coming up, check those out. And also, if you have more ideas for webinars, please send that to either info@idxbroker.com or help@idxbroker.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Aleck.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of your day.